Your brand identity might also include other brand elements like icons or patterns, different textures, different graphic elements. I like to use like watercolor texture in the background and those gold sparkles. You can see an example right here. This is my fonts again, my colors, and then I just use those as decoration. And they don't really have a big meaning, but if you use them over and over, people will recognize them. And I also like to use chocolate sometimes as a brand trigger. I love chocolate personally. So whenever people think of chocolate, they were going to think of me. Oh, remember that brand strategist, the messenger of meaning? She was all wild about chocolate. So occasionally I use chocolate to explain things, or I use it in my visuals. If you look on LinkedIn or if you follow me on Instagram, you will see chocolate every once in a while. It doesn't have to be chocolate. It could be a dinosaur. It could be anything. There is a chiropractor I know, Dr. Skip Wiz. He, for his personal brand, he wears bow ties. And that became a brand trigger. When I see bow ties now, I think of him. As I said, you also want to define your image style. What kinds of images do you want to use? And then you keep using the same ones. They give a certain look and feel. So consider your audience's journey, the different stages they go through, and then think about your color palette, your brand persona. What emotions are you trying to evoke and how do you want to come across? Don't just use any image. Be more specific. Be more strategic about that. And then when you have all those things figured out, you can put it together in a style guide like this. It explains all your logos and how to use them, all your colors. This is called a brand board. It's like a quick summary, shows you the colors and the fonts and the elements, and then a little mood board, the logo and the variations. And then you need to use it. Visual consistency is the name of the game online, especially on social media. You want people to be able to recognize your brand without seeing your logo and without reading your name, because they don't do that when they scroll through their social media accounts. They scroll, and then they recognize something, and you want them to recognize that font, and you want them to recognize that color. And they're like, holy cow, hold on. This is Pacha. I've seen this before, without them seeing my name or my logo, because they're not looking who posted this. They're looking who posted this if it makes them stop and say, wait, this looks familiar. Who posted this? Then they look, right? And then they see, oh, it's Pacha. Oh, she shared some interesting stuff before. What's she sharing now? And then they read the caption. But first, you need to get them to stop scrolling. And you do that by, first of all, posting great content so that they actually want to stop when they recognize you. And then make sure that they can recognize you by being very consistent in how you show up visually as a brand. Okay, so it might be boring to you to only use the same fonts and colors all the time. But as a brand, it's super, super important because that's how people recognize that it's you that's posting. Here's an example, and that's something that I don't want you to forget, your office. It's where you can bring your brand identity to life a little bit more. You can carry it over into real life. You want people to come into your office for the very first time and feel like they've been there already. Feel like they know the place and they know the people because they've been to your website and they follow you on social media, and the experience is consistent throughout. It might be too much to start like this, but every time you buy something, think about what your brand persona would buy. What color, what style, right? Those are two examples. The content can be the same, right? There's a couch, there's a couch. There's a wall, and there's a wall. The content can be the same, but how you present yourself is different based on your brand persona. Very different brand persona here than here, right? This is a whole different look and feel. So just be more conscious about how you show up in real life as well.